Cowboy.
one of the best, if not the best, undrafted free agent of all time. To settle that debate, you have come up with a pretty exclusive list of your top 5 undrafted player all time at any position.
Yes. My list, not yours, not yours. If you agree, disagree, please tweet us.
Who you got at 5?
Number 5. This is a guy that's still writing his story.
Oh!
Antonio Gates.
Basketball player, Cal.
Over 100 receiving touchdowns. The only other player at that position to have over 100 receiving touchdowns is Tony Gonzalez.
He was not undrafted.
I think Antonio Gates, when that time comes, he will be a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Wow. Number 4 on your list?
Oh, John Randall.
Oh, you had that face paint, that war paint. He was ready to kill
tackle,
quarterbacks.
Texas A&M Kingsville, 6-time All-Pro, member of the 1990s All-Decade team, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 37.5 sacks.
He had a motor that just never stopped.
Big time motor. And many felt like he was undersized for that position. He was able to defy all odds and was a very, very disruptive player in his career.
As you go through your list, it's funny because you go, man, how do GMs and coaches miss on guys like this? But Gates was a basketball player at Kent State, and you mentioned it, Randall, people thought he was undersized.
Yeah.
And they proved him wrong.
And these guys all peaked at the right time, especially early in their professional career.
Number 3, undrafted, best players of all time?
I think the player with the best nickname ever in football, Dick Night Train Lane.
That's fantastic.
Of course, Night Train served our great country.
Yes, he did.
And then he left that opportunity and then ventured into the NFL and dominated. Dominated from start to finish. His rookie campaign, 14 interceptions in 12 ball games.
Why did they throw his way?
Night Train Lane, I heard so many stories about Night Train Lane because in his secondary, he played with Dick LeBeau.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to talk to Dick LeBeau all the time about what was it like playing with Night Train
Dick
Lane
LeBeau and Night Train Lane.
Lynn Barney.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, great players in that Detroit Lions secondary.
I don't know how they gave up anything with those guys back then.
No question.
Number
and he's
2?
a Hall of Famer also, by the way.
Number 2 on your list?
Now we narrowed it down to 2 quarterbacks.
Tony Romo.
No. Not so fast, my friend.
Oh.
Warren Moon.
Okay.
Warren Moon. And many people, I understand you can have an argument about he was drafted in the CFL, but we're talking about undrafted NFL players.
Right.
He was not drafted in the NFL. Oddly enough, in the 1979 Rose Bowl, he was the player of the game in the Rose Bowl.
In the Rose Bowl?
Washington, I can't remember who they defeated, but he had an unbelievable career there at Washington, went undrafted, dominated in the CFL, then came to the NFL, dominated also, was a big-time thrower in that run-and-shoot offense there in Houston.
Talk about pure passer. Ooh. There are not many better than Warren Moon.
No question. And my number 1
Romo!
is a quarterback. I gave you a hint. Nah, it's not Romo, Dave Ross. Kurt Warner.
Oh, yeah.
I had the luxury of playing with Kurt Warner for 1 year there in Arizona. Unbelievable individual.
Really?
Not just football player, but he's just a great guy, a well-rounded individual. And I think with Kurt Warner, you look at his story, me personally, I think he has one of the best all-time comeback stories in professional sports. To not get drafted, only started his last year there at Northern Iowa, and then get an opportunity to be on to go to camp with the Packers, Green Bay Packers. Did not make that roster, got cut. Went to bagging groceries at the grocery store, making a little over $5 an hour, and then he went to the Arena League, went through that, and then he got an opportunity to go to the NFL. And initially, it didn't happen overnight.
Trent Green gets hurt.
Yes.
And this team will
Another man's misfortune is another man's opportunity.
I think you're right. That's the ultimate rags to riches story. When you're talking about a guy literally could not make it cut. You're out of the league, and then you're not even in football. And as you say, you're bagging groceries, which I'm sure he was really good at. And then to go from there and end up in the Hall of Fame, that's rather astounding. And play in 3 Super Bowls.
3 Super Bowls. He was the NFL most valuable player twice, 2-time All-Pro. Was the MVP of the Super Bowl. He also holds the record for most career Super Bowl passing yards at 1,156. Unbelievable career, and what could have been of Kurt Warner if he didn't have the determination, and the motivation to keep pushing him, and the perseverance to continue to go on when people didn't give him the opportunity. I mean, this is the all-time great comeback story in
from
professional
nothing
sports
to the Hall,
to literally, Hall of Fame, first ballot.
Agreed. Number 6 is Tony Romo on your list.
No.
7? 8?
I mean, Tony Romo is in there, but he's not close to my top 5.
Get him in there. Somewhere in the discussion.
I mean, you got Priest Holmes. You got a lot of guys. Tony Romo.
Texas.